Okay, so I'm going to go through like just a quick briefing of who we are and what we do, and then we'll go through an overview of the process and the application process, along with the timelines it takes to go through the grant scheme. And then I'll go through then the documentation that's required for the SEAI as well on it. And then after the end of it, we'll have any questions and answers for yourselves. So we're a non-profit independent agency. And we're set up really, I suppose, from Kilkenny and Carlow County Council at the start were part of it. And then later on, we brought in Wexford and Waterford. They'll be our partnerships. We're a trusted intermediary. We work with all sectors, including the public sector, with local authorities, communities, residentials, and SMEs, and also in the agricultural sector as well. Every energy user that needs advice or needs help with anything, we cover for everyone in our southeast region. So to date, from 2013 with the BEC grant is also known as, this is the totals that we've taken in as passed through. So you can see domestic total cost is nearly 19.5 million. And we'll also, you can see there, we have private and the public sectors are also large services on it as well. And you can also see where energy savings being made, mainly in the private. And you can see then also with our CO2 emissions, what's been saved since we started doing the grant scheme. So I'll just give you an idea of what a ton of carbon is, how much it is. So it's equivalent of 500 cubic meters of a hot air balloon. It's a large hot air balloon. That's a ton of CO2. Because we always see what is CO2 and a ton of this. So just give you an idea of how much it actually is. It's like 2.5 flights to Rome to Amsterdam, 50 trees grown for 1 year. That's the equivalent of it, what we try and save. So when you see a ton, what we're saved a ton, how many tons, that gives you an idea. They're supporting upgrade of homes, community buildings, and businesses right across Ireland. We want to become more energy efficient and to reduce costs. And it's our way of trying to look after, we're trying to do a fabric first, I suppose, in a lot of these grants and upgrade all our buildings. And who is it for? Is for everyone, for communities, for houses, local authorities, businesses, sports clubs and GA clubs we have at the moment. We're doing one tomorrow night. Health centres, every building you can think of can be eligible for this. And here you see we have a partnership. So with the application, Southeast Energy Agency will be the coordinators, the project coordinators for the grant. We'll have a lead applicant, which used to be a local authority, and now we can do it ourselves as well. And CKWW will be the lead applicant, it's like the main contractor for it. We have our beneficiaries, which could be yourselves. You've got the contractors that work in it. And then the funding body is all over, is the SEAI. So we are the interlink between all of those sections of it. Go through us. And as you see, 4 partnerships across the region with the public, private, and the 4 counties is our main area, Waterford, Kilkenny, Carlow, and Wexford. So I suppose the first step is how to get involved in the BEC. We can take up an expression of interest. It can be an email from our website. It can be a phone call from yourselves. And we'll ask you what you're kind of interested in doing. And we'll make sure that it's suited for the BEC grant. So we'll ask you, first of all, if you have an energy audit. Now, you can bring your own energy audit if it's already done. That's perfect. If not, we can issue a proposal to you so we can carry out the audit on the building. And the energy audit will show you where you're going to make your savings and how long your payback is going to be on. So basically, go through the fabric of the building. It'll go through your appliances, your usage, your heating controls, anywhere you're using fuel. And we'll come up then with where's your recommendations for making savings and what upgrades you can do on that. From the energy audit, we will have then, we'll do an SEAI application submission. We can put you onto the scheme. You'll be in a group with groups can range from about 8 to about 15 will be on the one application process. And you'll all be probably local authorities, it could be small, medium-sized companies, and it can also be communities. You'll all be under one. And when we put you into the process, you go into the SEI. We make the submission through them, and it can take up to about 8 weeks before they get back with a letter of offer. And so what's grants available? So it's between 30 and sometimes up to 50% funding to community facilities. So they can be community halls, charity facilities, some GAA clubs. It's up to the SEI to depend to issue who gets 50% or who doesn't. But it's 30% is the default for everyone. Generally speaking, if there's a commercial identity on it, they won't give you the 50%. So it has to be kind of a complete charity, or complete non-profit. So up to 30% funding for the private sectors, hotels, large commercial buildings, private nursing homes, SMEs, etc. Domestic funding is set on a figure based on your house type. So we have a list of things that depends if it's semi-detached or terraced house or a detached house, gets different grades of the quantity they're going to get. Oops. So for the measures or upgrades, what we can do, we have building fabric upgrades. That can be your wall insulation, your attic insulation, the windows and doors. So for example, in the wall insulation, it could be filling the cavity walls upon the bead, or I could do an external wrap or even internal insulation. Attic insulation, it can be just using out a roll, or even the slabs of the insulated slabs as well, going up, especially in a pitched roof. Windows and doors, again, you can place all windows and doors, but have to be up to a U value of 1.4 or better. For the wall and the attic is 0.16 is the target you have to reach. Technology and equipment.
Apologies, just a little bit of a technical issue. Jeff is just going to restart there. Hopefully we'll be able to recommence in a moment. Thanks very much for your patience.
No. Sorry about that, everyone. I seem to have dropped out completely of internet, lost it all. So so we can get our mechanical electrical equipment. Pumps can be included in it. For the heating upgrades, you're looking at AHUs, even the AC can be included. You've got heat pumps. We're trying to get rid of no fossil fuels and trying to remove them and replace them with more renewable energy. We'll have a smart meters and controls can be included, mainly only for fossil or for non-fossil fuel heating systems. EV chargers can be included, and integration of renewable energy solutions. So we're looking at biomass, pellet burners, solar PV, and turbines can all be included on it. The cash flow, So again, I suppose the step one, we as the coordinator will be in the middle. The beneficiary will pay their contractor 100% the costs. From that, then we submit the payment to the SEAI, the payment claim, and the SEAI will pay the grant to the lead applicant, which will be CKWW in our case, which is ourselves. And step 4, then the SEAI gives the grant breakdown to the lead applicant, and lead applicant then pays the beneficiary their grant. So you end up having to pay the full amount to the contractor, and then you get the grant afterwards. You get back your percentage, which is 30% or 50%. So cash flow, for an example, if the project costs 100,000 and you got, yeah, sorry. I think someone's not muted there. Sorry, so if a project costs 100,000, a grant claim of 30% will give you the 30,000 grant. The SEAI payment one will be 27,000. Once the measurement and verification is carried out, it's normally about 10 months after the submission, the SEAI will issue payment 2, which will be the 3,000. So they withhold 10% until a year later, more or less, when you make your M&V. And this is the kind of M&V is to prove that the upgrades that we did and oversaw meet the savings that we said we were going to make. So we can't just make a figure up out of our heads. We have to reach the savings we said we're going to make, and that's where that 10% comes. That's held until they see the M&V that's carried out probably 10 months later. Energy credits. Every project creates energy savings. The Energy Efficiency Obligation Scheme, these kilowatt hour savings are traded with our participating energy suppliers. So like I think we have Energy at the moment, will buy the credits off us for a set price. We will pay out, we'll come to agreement with the beneficiaries beforehand what energy credits they'll have if there's any for them. And generally anything that's left over at the end of it will go towards probably community-based projects that we can put the money into. So SMEs with the Southeast region, the monitoring and verification 12 months after completion will depend on what the energy credits will be. And so it can be an overview of the application process. So first of all, we said, like, we go in, do you have an energy audit done? And if it's a yes, you go straight into the next step with project management and coordination. If there's a no, then we can carry out the energy audit, or it can be done by someone else as well, up to yourselves. Once we've confirmed our energy upgrade measures, once you've decided what we're going to do, we go next into, you can go into the contractor quotation for the work. So you can have a chat with ourselves, we can go through what it's going to be. You can come with us for procurement side of it. And from that, then we'll issue a procurement on it. Procurement will go through our DPS systems. We have a pre-qualified people on it, of list of contractors. And we need to go out to at least 3 for each one. We don't have to get 3 quotes back. We just have to say that we've gone out. We can sometimes contractors are not going to come back with a quote, and it's not going to be the fault of ourselves or yourselves. But once we've shown that we've gone out for it, it's enough for the SEAI to be satisfied that we've made an attempt. And also there's a €300 application participation fee. So because what can happen is we'll do a lot of work and someone can still drop out at the end or not go through it all. And it's just a small deposit really to cover any costs that we could lose. So kind of the role to show you quickly what we do and what's involved in the project coordinator. We pull together the partnership for the application. So as I said to you, there's probably can be from about 8 to 15 on the application, along with at least 10 houses. So you can all be kind of small or slightly different, say, businesses or GA clubs, community centres. So it's kind of a very varied range of beneficiaries for it. So we complete and submit the application with the lead applicant. The completion of the SEAI's technical workbook with technical details and measures and contractor quotes. So we've got the SEAI's technical workbook to fill out. It'll have all the savings, the costs, and the kilowatt hour savings of energy that's going to be on it from the upgrades carried out. And these all have to be correct. We've got a collation of all required financial documentation from the beneficiary. So all the financial docs that they require, we need to make sure we have everything for that. That goes into the application. It's like having all the contractor quotes for each measure that you're going in as well. The completion of all the grant application forms, the project management plan, a program of works for the whole project. We do a measure and verification plan as well, and participating energy supplier form. So we look after all of those application forms. We have a project coordination of the grant, award, and administration. We liaise with the SEAI, the lead applicant, and the beneficiary throughout the projects. We have monthly progress reports to the SEAI because they want to see how far along each project is doing, and they kind of want to know then when each one are due to finish. Coordination and submission of the payment claims, and coordination of the grant payment for the lead applicant to the beneficiary, and then completion of the energy credits trading. We'd carry out final site inspections and snag lists. So say we've got 10 on the application, 2 or 3 of those will be selected from the SEAI to carry out their own inspections. But what we do as well, we also carry out our own final inspections on everything on the projects to the same stringency as what the SEAI will do, just to make sure that everything's above board and there's going to be no snags if they do come out and do an inspection on us. Collation of all the technical handover docs. So everything that we do, so any installation you have will have to have data sheets and the documentations that they're on any SEAI certified with CE marks. We'll get all those documentations from between yourselves and the contractors, and they'll all be handed over to the SEAI. Coordination of post-work inspections with the SEAI inspectors. We'll carry that out. And the M&V then happens, as I say, 9 to 11 months after the project is completed. We do the M&V, so we compare to say that your bills and the energy used since the upgrades have been completed, and should be shown they're going to be making the savings that we said before in the technical workbook. So they should be matching. So the role of the project manager. So when you're going into this, we've got 2 options. We can be project coordinators, or we can do the project manager as well. So the project coordinator, as we said, will just do all the docs as you saw. The project management side of it will do all the docs, and as well then we'll be kind of doing the on-site, reorganizing the contractors or the builders and carrying out all the works, and all the works are carried out as they should on site. We won't be on site every day, but we'll be on site doing inspections probably every week or every second week usually, or whenever the work is being carried out. So that you can see, we recommend the contractor, on-site management of works, site inspection, the progress reports, valuations and recommendation for payment to the contractor on completion of the works. So again, we make sure everything's done to the way to the spec that it should be, and then general ongoing quality assurance. So procurement process must be followed. So this is part, we're going to have your own builders, that's fine, but when we're doing our procurement, we look for the value for money, the contracted quotes to be retained and submitted with the application. A minimum of 3 quotes, as I said earlier, have to be requested, and they can be done through our dynamic purchase system, or DPS. So these are people already pre-qualified through our system, and all the quotes will go out to all of them that are in the Pacific lot. Timeframes. The BC, it can be slightly slow process. So at the moment we have one going in this week, and the next application we hope to go in probably in March. Now it can change sometimes if we have a lot of applicants all ready to go. We can try and get one in before then. But generally speaking, it could be March 25 before the next one goes in. And The SEI say they take about 8 weeks for them to give a letter of offer once the application goes in. They have to approve everything on the application. They say about 8 weeks before we get the letter of offer. Works cannot start until we get the letter of offer. And then from the letter of offer, we've got 12 months to complete all our works and get all our handover docs and everything back into the SEI. So you can see if it starts in March, it'll be probably hopefully for May, could be the letter of offer. Sometimes it can be a few weeks later with the SEI. Completion of projects then, say for this argument's sake, we'll say completed in October. And then May is our final cutoff for the 12 months. The measurement and verification then will be another probably 10, 11 months after the works are completed. So the documents required, you have energy audit, that goes back in again, you have VAT letter from revenue, a declaration of the financial resources, the template sent out for signing, and then a bank statement needs to show the 50% of the total project cost. The SEI want to make sure that you know you can cover the costs of the project you're going to carry out. And a tax clearance certificate is required, and confirmation of community or non-profit or charity status if you're going for the 50%. It's going to be obviously going to default to 30%. So if you wanted 50%, you need to show confirmation of community non-profit that you're a proper charity. And a letter of support if you're part of an SEC, and a participation letter from the SEC as well. So some examples there, we had SOS Kilkenny. You can see the total costs for them, 167,000. The grant amount they got was 83. Savings was 9,000, 15% savings on it, so payback was good. They carried out attic installation, pumped cavity walls, upgraded heating system, and a hybrid heating pod. And we had a Loughlin Gales GA club, again saying that a big savings on it for the costs. They had timing controls and fridges, they had a boiler upgrade at the time, LED lighting was put in, and in the pitches, a recent one was done as well. There's big savings upgrading their pitch. Attic installation, they rolled out the attic on the wool installation, and had a pumped cavity installation as well in the walls. So I'm going to thank you all very much, and I'll take any questions. I'll go through all the questions that you have in the chat at the moment. In English, can you see any of the... Sorry, my fingers. Sorry, yeah, I have them there now. Yeah. Does a homeowner contact the SEAI directly or can be part of the BEC application? Yeah, but on the application for that one, for Joanna, we can have at least 10 houses on each application, domestic. So the homeowner can contact us directly, yes, and it can go. We can look after you straight away for the grant application. And David, can a club choose their own contractor if a club member, for example, was an electric contractor to save money, or have to say no? We can have your own contractors as long as they're SEI approved to carry out the works, and that all your say the product that's used is NASI certified as well. I don't know what might be the common reasons for delay of the work starting. A grant like this it's kind of funny because when you all go into it, it's like you're part of a team. So generally what will delay it can be documentation can delay it, or trying to get energy audits back, or we're trying to get quotes back in a bit later than normal. Once we have all the documentations, there's no problem putting in the application, but if someone doesn't, then it can delay everyone else a little bit. But again, that's part of our job. That's what we do. We make sure that everyone has the right documentation and there won't be a delay. Sorry, Rob, I'm gonna have to take a second connection. the first part of your one, Robert, election of government, is there a delay in getting? No, at the moment, the funding is already there for the BEC. So it's not as if they're not releasing it, as the SEAI have the funding already for that for this year. So no, there won't be any from departments, Kildare Street, no, they won't affect it that way. They already have their funding in there. If there's a delay, what is the delay amount expected? As I said before, generally any delay at the moment will be from our side, not having the applicants, not having the docs in properly, something like that. At the moment, no, it should be. What can happen is that the 8 weeks from when we put in our application to getting the letter of offer, the only delay can be in the SEI themselves if they're taking a bit longer to go through the financial side of things on it, or they go through, they inspect everything on it. But usually that should be 8 weeks. Breakdown by county district show energy targets and capital target indicated size. Breakdown. We have breakdown by county district showing energy targets and the capital target to indicate the size of the opportunity each district or even small area parish, so we can measure our benefits or see a performance compared to others. I have to see. I'm not sure what you mean by that, Rob. I'm sorry. Are you comparing how we're doing, say, in county by county compared to other counties? Can we access European equipment / capital under the grants to have EU certs? Yeah. Yes, it's C. They have to have a CE mark on all the equipment used. Generally, everything has to be for energy upgrades. We're looking at to have to be NESI certified, and that's the main one. And that to come from it has to have the EU mark on it as well, or CE mark on it. Sorry. And the price, particularly very high costs. Yeah, I'll actually, Rob, I might come back to you on that one separately if that's okay for the end one. For Joanna, as project coordinators, is there any part of the coordination work that could be digitalized to make the process more streamlined? At the moment, no. What we do, we have to do it as the SEI ask. So we have their workbook to fill out, and that's their technical workbook for each beneficiary is on it. And then overall, in the workbook, everyone goes in it. All your savings are in it, and it's all scored. There's a score. The whole application then becomes all the one. So we have to have a score to meet. So we have to have like good jobs in it. They all have to make good savings on it. So if there's one a bit lower than the others, or one very bad, it might make the scoring on it. So we don't really have a say on then. We have to fill out that workbook towards the SEI. It's up to them maybe if they want to digitalize it more to make the process more streamlined. Possibly, yeah, they could do it. But at the moment, it's just that that's the way it is. Henry, yeah, we have it recorded. Emer, does the BEC application have to be a mix of domestic and non-domestic? Will it always be that way? At the moment, there is an application for the BEC for doing domestic only. Now, most of ours will always have the commercial side of it. So we haven't looked into the domestic only, but there is that way too. Will it always be that way? No, it'll probably change. Again, it's up to the department or the SEI. At the moment, we're just kind of work on it. They've made a change this year to start, so it can delay this a bit. But I can only give you the information that we have at the moment. I can't predict what they're going to do next year, really. But as I know, as it is, it's still the same way. We're doing both commercial and domestic on the applications. I haven't seen one of just commercial only or anything like that. So, Colin, what is the typical project coordinator fee? Is it a percentage of the works or a flat fee? Different for domestic, non-domestic. Yeah, for domestic side of it, there's a set rate, and we give it out whenever anyone comes in for having to get a query from them. On the commercial side of it, it's 5% for the coordination, and it's 8% for the project management fees. So that's 5% of the energy upgrades of your capital costs for the energy upgrades, and 8% for the capital costs of the energy upgrades. How are the energy credits handled? Do the participants get the full value of the energy credits deducted from their final cost? As an add-on to this, do you have a ballpark value per energy credit? We probably offer the credits before it starts, what you get for them, Colin, and it kind of depends on whereabouts. There's a list of criteria, and I can send them out to you as well if you're interested in that, of how they're deducted down. Depends if there's someone in our region. Companies that aren't in a region, they mightn't get them as much. But there is a set fee for the costs, and they're all sold to the likes of say Energia at the moment. And what's left over then, if there is a balance left over, we put that back into community projects that we could be looking after ourselves. Then will you be sending out the slides? Yes. We can send them out to Eilish, can we? Yeah, the slides will all be sent out. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Yeah, we've got there. Colin again, for fuel poor homes, have you been able to cover the entire cost of the upgrade fabric only from the increased level of grant? No, I wouldn't say not the entire cost of the upgrade. It probably works out about just over 30% as well. Now it depends on the house. It depends what measures you're doing as well. There's set fees for the houses, so it's a little bit different. I can send them on to you as well, Colin, if you're interested. And from Rob, energy emissions carbon targets are actual versus EU targets. County versus parish would be a good bit of competition. Okay. No, sorry, Rob. It's not 30% fee. For the coordination is only 5%, and then the project management, which includes the coordination, is 8%. So it doesn't go up to 13 or anything like that. It's either 5% for the coordination, and then it's just 8% then for the coordination and the project management. From Mark, can you take advantage of the lower interest rate financing through for a domestic upgrade? A non-domestic upgrade. I'll have to check with you on that, Mark, and come back to you if you don't mind. Okay, it is going to be. Yeah. Yeah, I'll check on that one, Mark. I haven't heard of it yet, but I've only heard it alone for the domestic side of it. Let's see, is there any more questions or anything else? I didn't explain myself properly, maybe later early on, or got interrupted with the internet. Can you explain that clubs would have to complete at least 4 aspects of improvements at one time? David, that can happen. Yeah, if you have, say, a lot of upgrades to do, and it's going to cost you a good bit. Say you have 6 of them, for argument's sake, of different types of measures, whatever they are. Of course, we have done ones where we've done 3 this year and 3 the next year on the next BEC. That has happened, yeah. And SEAI will go back when you go back to the next application, and you've only got 2 smaller, say 2 smallish measures to carry out. They will take into account that you've done it before, and this is still part of the works that you would have got from, say, your energy audit 2 years previous to it. That it can work that way. Again, only drawback is on it if something changes in the meantime with the SEI. You know, otherwise we can work it that way too. From Rob, would be good to have a slide on finance options summary that go out, as finance is a huge issue. Clubs don't have the cash, and it means we'd have to match fund ring fence the cash until the grants. Yeah, look, that is one thing we do hear back on it, is having to pay the contractor 100% up everything at once, and then you're waiting on the grant money to come back in afterwards. I know most clubs are saying will get to 50%. But again, it's down to if you have a bar or something like that where they see you making money on it, then you probably just go back down to the 30%. So yeah, it is a bit of an issue having to pay everything up front, but at the moment that's just the way they're working it. Yeah, if there's any more. Okay. Look, I can send out my email details and number if anyone wants to give me a call afterwards on any if any queries outside of this. I'm only be happy to help. Yeah, feedback in that EU finances forward funding and repaid post project is a huge barrier. Yeah, it is. Yeah, and so most will find difficult. Okay, if there's no more questions, I think we'll leave it there. And thank you everyone for coming. Thanks again, and we'll send out the slides to you all, and any queries as well. You can still contact me. Okay, thank you all very much.